live on the hottest day of the year. You can probably see that I am already sweating. Some of this is skincare and some of it is just purely sweating. I always look like I have way more imperfections when I go live. Well, I mean, a lot of it is just freckles, but even so, I just feel like everything is more noticeable, even when I've had a spot from like a month ago and the mark is still there. Like, what's this? That's new. Anyway, let's crack on with it. So, I did most of my skincare off screen. So, I used what did I use? I used the Aven Oat Serum, and then I also used the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. That's really good, actually. I've been impressed with it. And then I wanted to do this on camera just to remind everyone how important it is. And that is I'm using my SPF. Now, the one I'm using at the moment is the Medicate one. It's the Advanced Day Ultimate Protect, and that is SPF 50 plus. So I'm going to take a whopping 3 pumps of that. Yes, you should be using loads of it. So it kind of has this slightly yellow cast on my hand, and I am slathering that onto my face, okay? So part of the reason I'm doing this is because my dad is currently battling skin cancer. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always worn sunscreen anyway, even in cloudy days, but I'm using even more lately because my dad is really struggling with skin cancer at the minute. So he's had some removed from part of his nose. He's got like a few stitches up here from it. He's had a huge chunk taken out of his back. And now he's also having to apply what is basically kind of like chemo in a cream all over his face. And it's absolutely burning the shite out of his face. Like it's really hurting him. And I feel so sorry for him. It's awful. And it's just reminding me to, basically you can never put on too much sunscreen. Morning, nice to see you as well. So yeah, like sunscreen, everybody, even when you think you're in the shade, even when it's cold, whatever, wear your sunscreen. Right, that's going to take a while to set. You may notice I'm in a different place because it's just unmercifully hot upstairs. I just can't film. I also had another little issue where I think a piece of I mean, it's not super expensive anyway, but a piece of my filming tripod has just fallen off somewhere and I don't know where it is. So I'm actually filming with, yes, it is. It's 10:30 in the morning here in the UK. Sorry, I was saying, I've actually got my phone stacked up on 5 books and leaning against a cup. That is my dedication to this. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of this L'Oreal True Match concealer. This is in the shade 05D, which is the lightest shade. And I'm going to use that as a base for eyeshadow. So I've just got that on the back of my hand here. It's a really nice neutral tone. I actually really rate all of the L'Oreal True Match products. Their foundation is really amazing as well. But yeah, if anyone else is feeling like particularly gross in the heat and like just not feeling themselves, feeling really bloated, feeling a bit more anxious or irritable than usual, you are not alone. I feel like it's almost like having PMS being in this heat wave. Because it's not that time of the month for me, but I feel like it is because the heat just makes me feel horrible. My scale weight goes up and I just feel bloated even though I'm drinking loads of water. And just, it's not a time where I feel very attractive or patient or, in general, I don't feel great at the moment. Oh, thanks. So I live in Manchester or like the suburbs of Manchester. I'm obviously from Ireland originally. I'm from Cork. Right. So the reason that I tend to use concealer as a base sometimes is I have like pretty much translucent eyelids. You can see like all the veins and stuff. You can see that is absolutely knocking all the color out of my eyelids, which is great. And it just gives you more of a blank canvas to work with. Not a necessary step, but I feel like it is today because sometimes I think it looks weird if I'm blending out eyeshadow and there's like some big purple vein in the way. But sometimes it bothers me and sometimes it doesn't. So that's on there now. That dries down by itself. You don't have to set it. You can set it if you want to. A setting powder I've been really enjoying, and I'm just going to use it because, I like showing it really, is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting powder in soft pink. This is absolutely gorgeous. I thought it might have too much color, but actually it doesn't. The only thing you have to be careful with is that it's enormous. So you need to be careful with the sifter because the holes are really big. So I'm probably just going to tap out what I think is a really small amount. Yeah, and it's probably enough to do my entire face. And then I love these little triangular like velour puffs. But what I tend to do is I'll smush that all over into the lid. Then I'm going to tap some off onto the palm of my hand, and then I'm going to go straight onto my eyelid. To be honest, I probably wouldn't bother setting this, only it is 31 degrees outside. So just doing that now. Has anyone else tried this powder? Let me know if you like it. And it just mattifies. It doesn't leave like any sort of pink um appearance on your eyelids or anything. I did have a little bit of a problem with the Catrice one doing that, but again, I just had to be careful with the amount that I was using. Right, so that's all done there. I'm still waiting for my SPF, this one, to sink in. So I'm not doing anything to my skin just yet. Now, my mum got me this for my birthday. It's a Laura Geller eyeshadow palette. She's gotten really into Laura Geller. To be fair, it's a pretty good brand, and a lot of it is like mineral stuff, so it's really good for your skin. This is the Nude Attitude 12 Multi-Finish Eyeshadows palette. So I'll just open that up. It comes with a massive great mirror there at the top. Now, most of the tones, I would say the majority are kind of warm toned, but then you've got some lovely cool tones like this one, this around here, kind of pinky tone shadows as well. But then you also have your golds and your coppers and your warm gold shades. I really like that there's this shade included as well, like this sort of bone color. And then like this could be like a really light transition color. Then you've got a slightly warmer one, and then your cool transition color as well. So I'm going to have a little go on using those ones. Can't talk because clearly I'm very out of practice. So I'm going to start just with a fluffy blending brush, and I think I'm going to start with this sort of cool pinkish taupe. Oh, they're quite powdery. Okay, that was a surprise. Never used this palette before. I feel terrible because actually my birthday was like 3 months ago, but I just haven't really had a reason to use it. It's going to be ideal for travel. Like, it's perfect size. It has a massive mirror, loads of tones. You could do something really natural. You could do something smokier. It's got quite a mix, really. I feel like all of my makeup is behaving differently because it's so hot. And I don't even mean just liquid products, like even blending eyeshadows and stuff. I feel like it's doing something to the eyeshadow textures. I feel like it's affecting how I'm using the brush. Maybe it's just because I'm exhausted from the heat. Does anyone just feel tired all the time in this kind of weather? I just want to sleep. Like, you can see why they have siestas in other countries that are really, really warm. Oh, the Laura Geller powder foundation in porcelain is actually great. I never knew that they did light shades. That's good to know, actually. My mum likes all the kind of mineralized powders. I think some of them are like, yeah, like all over face powders, but I think some of them are like bronzers and stuff as well. Laura Geller's a brand that I thought was only really available in the States, but I think she might have got this in like TK Maxx. But she has also ordered stuff from Laura Geller in the past, like not maybe specifically the Laura Geller website, but like sites that sell Laura Geller in the UK and Ireland, because my mum is still in Ireland. Okay, that was very powdery, that shade, but it's just given me kind of a light dusting there in the crease. I'm gonna try one of these shimmery shades all over the lid. I think I'm gonna try this one down here. It looks really dark, but if it's anything like the one I've just tried, it'll kick up a lot of powder, but it won't actually be super, super intense. I kind of get the impression that Laura Geller is kind of more natural makeup, I guess, you know, like nothing too crazy. So when I'm pushing the brush into this, it's got a very soft texture, this shimmer shadow. So it's kind of like being pushed around by the brush. So I think that's going to be good. That reminds me of some of the MAC shadows and the Natasha Denona shadows that I like. And again, I'm sort of pushing that across my eyelid. And you know what? It's exactly as I suspected. It looks really dark in the pan, but it's not that dark on my eye. Well, we'll see if we can layer it up a little bit. It could also be just because it's shimmery and very reflective that it doesn't look as dark. It's quite interesting, actually. Oh, I quite like that. And you know, it's weird looking at it now. It looks like I've put a darker color on the outer half of my lid, but I haven't. It's just one. So that's kind of interesting. It's got kind of dimension to it, hasn't it? Right. So let's do some on the other eye. Again, I'm not looking to do anything, you know, groundbreaking here. This is just an everyday kind of a look. But we all know I love brown sparkly eyeshadows, so yeah, I mean, looking at it in the pan and then looking at it on my eye, very different. It's actually much warmer than it appears in the pan, which is also a bit strange. Slightly disappointing. I was hoping it was going to be, you know, a good mix of cool and neutral and warm shades, but this is definitely neutral to warm, I would say. But I like the kind of dual dimension of it where it's actually darker on the out corners. Okay, let's see if we can deepen that up. I did bring a little pencil brush and I'm just going to go into, I'll go for the darkest shade here, which is like a very dark kind of espresso brown. This has a bit more of a firmer texture. It is kicking up a little bit of fallout, so I'm just tapping off the pencil brush as I go, and I'm just going to put that along the lash line and see how it goes. Very soft. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is more of a copper color. How strange. It looks more like satin taupe in the pan, like very like satin taupe from MAC, but it's definitely got a copper edge. Well, that's quite nice. They go on pretty simply. I wouldn't say they're the craziest pigment in the world, but it's good quality pigment. And they're not patchy, they're not dry. They are kicking up a bit of fallout in the pan, but that doesn't seem to be happening underneath my eyes. I have another mirror here, so I'm just going to do a double check. No, there's like virtually no fallout with these shades. Going to put a little bit under the eye. And then what I'll do is I will do mascara and all of that stuff, and then I'll see if I need any more anywhere else. Now I'm just going to go back to that fluffy blending brush I had earlier, and I'm just going to sweep that up a little bit higher. When you have smaller eyes like I do, it's better to blend your shades right up so that it makes your eye look a little bit larger. In fact, I might need a bit more of that color. It's quite soft, and it has not blended into nothing, but it's definitely blended out more than I thought. I think I was half afraid of it too when I was first applying it because I didn't know how strong or pigmented it would be. So let's just top that up a little bit. Yeah, I think I might prefer the darker mattes and the shimmers in this palette. This one's okay, but it hasn't impressed me as much as this nice kind of coppery color on my lid. And I do prefer the nice soft matte shade that went along my lash line as well. I didn't even know Laura Geller did like sparkly eyeliners and stuff and colored liners. It's not a brand I've ever really explored. I remember they used to do like baked kind of mineralized products that were quite popular. They kind of looked a bit like some of the MAC mineralized products, you know, and they were kind of around at the same time, maybe like, I don't know, 2013 or whatever. I remember seeing them, but definitely at that point, you could only get Laura Geller in the States. I had never seen it over here, even in TK Maxx or anything. Okay, so not a bad place to stop there. I will do a little bit of liquid eyeliner. This is a brown. This is the, what's it called? Essence Eyeliner Pen Extra Long Lasting. That's all it says, and it's in the brown shade. So I'm just doing the base of my lashes just so they look a bit thicker. I don't actually have a brown mascara. That would have been a good idea, but I didn't pull one. And all I did was just bundle a load of stuff into my little travel makeup bag and bring it downstairs because I was literally sweating while I was sitting there and not doing anything in my dressing room. So that's why we're in the living room balanced on a coffee table and the door to the kitchen is behind me. I don't know. I think sometimes it can be good to like mix it up and film in different areas. The light in here is actually pretty good. Who knows? Could be a whole new filming thing. Hazel is actually asleep in the corner. Both cats are sleepier than ever in the heat, and they're drinking a lot of water. So we're having to keep an eye on their water bowls and make sure that they're topped up because they are actually getting to the bottom of them. Right, I feel like I have one wing pointing north and one wing pointing west, but what can you do? We'll just try and even them out. I didn't even really mean to do a wing, but that's what happens with liquid eyeliner, isn't it? But look, we'll roll with it. We can tidy it up with concealer if needs be. Now, here's a perfect example of how makeup is just melting in this weather and performing differently. This is the MAC Studio Chromographic Pencil. This is long discontinued in NC15 NW20. So it is a little bit darker than my skin tone. It's kind of this yellow shade, but I really like putting this on the inside of my eye to make them look brighter. And because it's got that NC15 undertone, it does cancel out any like redness. I do like to wear a white, but it does depend on what kind of eyeshadow look I'm going for. If I'm doing something more quote unquote natural, like today, I would use this one. If I was going for like maybe more purples or whatever, I would use the white one because then the purple won't pick out too much of the yellow in the pencil and make it look weird. Because nobody has, you know, yellow eyes, essentially, or yellow waterlines, but it can help just to counteract in certain situations any redness you have there, the fact that you haven't slept because you're in a heat wave, that sort of thing. Oh my God, where do you live? It's 31 here in Manchester today, and it is horrible. But tell me where you live because I'm really curious. Like, I think they're thinking it's going to hit like 40 down near London and Surrey and places like that today. Guys, tell me if you're watching this, what temperature is it where you live and where are you? Because I'm very interested now to see how everyone's coping with this heat wave or not heat wave, depending on where you are. Wow. Do you know what? I've only been to Scotland once, but I absolutely loved it. I went to Glasgow for my hen do. Oh my God, 35 in Liverpool. That is shocking. I'd love to do, there's like a 500-mile trip all around Scotland. I'd really like to do that sometime in my little Polo. I think it's been a very faithful car and I think it would do well on a road trip. So I might do something like that. 15 sounds absolutely gorgeous right now, though, I'm just going to tell you. I didn't realize Liverpool was actually going to be hotter than Manchester today. And normally, like if you're by the sea helps to keep you a bit cooler, but I guess not. I can imagine how rammed all the beaches will be, like Formby, Crosby, Southport, all those places. Probably not the best day to be in the city of Liverpool, I would imagine, because cities are always warmer. But yeah, it's very, very uncomfortable. As you've probably noticed, I am still in my pajamas because we're keeping it real over here. I'm just too hot, and I feel like anything I wear, I'm just going to sweat through anyway. So NC 500, that's the one. Yeah, though it sounds amazing, and you know what? Summer is the time to do it. 37. Oh my God, that's crazy. Now, when I lived down in Southampton, the summers were extremely hot. And like once it got into the 30s, I just don't go outside. It's too hot. It's too uncomfortable. Right. I am still melting and I did put on my sunscreen, my SPF 50, but like I don't even know if it's soaking in just because it's so hot. I can't tell the difference now between is it like just tacky sunscreen feeling or is it also mixed with sweat? Who knows? But I have a new foundation that I wanted to show you because I wore this on Tuesday when it was very, very warm as well, because we've had this kind of heat wave going all week. And I was so incredibly impressed with it. So this is, I won't delay it any longer, the Essence Silky Blur Hydrating Longwear Foundation. Okay. Now, although it says hydrating, I agree that it's hydrating. It is not dewy and it is not radiant. So it will not dry you out, but it's not giving you any glow either. But actually, I've got enough fucking glow in this weather. So I think this is an ideal foundation. I wore this on Tuesday and it did not fucking budge. Like I was so impressed. So I've put 2 pumps of that now on the back of my hand and I've got a very damp sponge. Oh, I meant to bring setting spray down to like spritz my face with intermittently, but I forgot it. What does it say here? It's different when you're on holiday and can jump in the pool to cool off. Yeah, I think most of us do just wish we were on holiday now. Like if you have to experience over 30 degrees, you should be on holiday. It should be like a national holiday. Anyway, are we seeing the coverage? Like, look at that. Yes, I have used the Misha BB Cream in shade 13. I love that product. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorite things to wear. I wish it came in more than 20 mil. I think you can get 20 mil or 50 mil. I'm probably going to end up buying the 50 mil, though. I'm not even going to lie about it. It's such a great product, and it seems to do for kind of every situation because you can build up the coverage if you want to, or you can really sheer it out. It's a very sort of malleable product in that way. But yeah, I am so impressed with this. I feel like it completely evens out my skin tone, but does let my freckles kind of shine through. Not that I really give a shit about my freckles, but some people like freckles and some people want them to be visible. I've probably used too much. I've put 2 pumps on the back of my hand. A holiday to Antarctica. Yeah, go visit the penguins. Totally. Just chill out with them now. Has anybody seen actually? There's been loads of like little videos on social media where in like different zoos and wildlife parks, they're giving some of the large animals like blocks of ice, like huge blocks of ice for them to cool down and like play with. It's been absolutely adorable. You can see all these like tigers and stuff like just playing with massive chunks of ice. But I'm glad that they're looking after them rather than being like, oh, they're from a hot country anyway, they should be fine. Like everyone is feeling this weather. Like it's not nice. Okay, I've deliberately not gone under my eyes because that's going to be a separate job for concealer, but I think this is gorgeous and I was so impressed with like the lasting power of it. Now I did set it with what's it called? The Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting spray. I don't think that that's, the best setting spray ever, but it is decent. It's kind of grown on me over time. I was disappointed when I first got it, but now I actually quite like it. Right, so I have a weird itch around my nose. This always happens when I apply like foundation or something. I seem to get like maybe a micro hair or something, and it's always on this side of my nose. I don't know why that happens. Right, I have all of this left on my hand. So clearly that was a mistake, but I'll get rid of that now in a minute. So yeah, that is the Essence Silky Blur Hydrating Longwear Foundation, and it's in the shade 20, which I believe is the lightest shade. Somebody commented actually on one of my older videos saying that a lot of the Essence products in the shops aren't the same shade that I'm using. And that's because usually Essence, they'll only put in maybe 4 or 5 or 6 shades actually in stores. So they'll only go for like the kind of popular medium shades. And then they'll kind of ignore the lightest and the darkest shades and they won't stock them in stores, but they are available online. So if you are my shade twin, just go for the lightest one in Essence. And that's pretty much always my shade. Like it's the same with the stick foundation as well. Why am I feeling itchy? This is so weird. I'm like tapping it rather than scratching at it because I don't want to get rid of the finish. Right, so this is not transfer proof or anything. Like you do have to set it. But before we set it, we're going to have to go back to our trusty L'Oreal True Match and I'll put some of that under my eyes. Less is definitely more in weather like this when it comes to concealer, I've noticed. Although at least it's warm, so it'll probably melt in a little bit better. And I'm going to go back to the same brush that I used to apply it earlier over my eyelids, which is just this one from Real Techniques. And I was watching this really interesting video about concealer because I'm always looking at, concealer videos, under eye, concealing videos. And the lady who did it said, don't bring your concealer like right the way up under your eye because you should be using the natural shadow that occurs on your lash line to kind of almost line your eyes in a way. So I get what she's saying, and I kind of do a bit of both. Like sometimes I'll use it to my advantage and sometimes I won't. But I get what she's saying in terms of like, if you're going to cover it up with an eyeliner anyway, there's not really that much point in, putting concealer there unless you want like maybe that eyeliner to pop or whatever, if it's like, if it's a very bright color. But yeah, it was interesting just to look at her kind of perspective on it. Like, don't bring it right up under here, just do the lower bit. So I'd see what people think about that. I went to Barcelona Zoo once and the lions had a traffic cone to play with. Oh, that sounds doty. I mean, they are just big kittens in some ways. Deadly big kittens, but they do like to play. My cats, Hazel and Pearl, have been catching lots of mice lately. And like this has never happened before. They both have collars with bells on. So like we've done that deliberately so that they don't catch wildlife or can't catch wildlife as often. But yeah, really, really sad when that happens because I hate having to try and rescue the mouse because 9 times out of 10 they just end up catching it again somehow because it's injured or it's just not a nice scenario. Sometimes we find it already dead. I mean, one morning I came down last week and there was just blood splatters in the kitchen. So that wasn't the nicest. Right, I'm just going to go around my nose as well. Any spots that I've missed with the sponge kind of, do you know what I mean? Can be quite difficult to get in around my nose rings at time, and I think I've scratched half of it off now at this point. Right, so just going over that a little bit. And anywhere else I need a tiny bit more coverage. I always tend to put a bit on my chin. I'm just going back into the old foundation now, by the way. I've run out of concealer. Because this is where it rubs off first. It's not necessarily that I need loads of coverage on my chin. It just wipes off. So we can beef that up a bit. And then on my chin, I'll just press that back in with the sponge. Got a nice highlighted chin there now. And then what I'll do around my eyes to remove any excess product is just a much smaller but dampened sponge. And that's going to smooth out any creases because creases appear in, 0.1 of a second. And it will remove any additional product because I'm 35 now. I do have lines under my eyes. Right, back to our Wet n Wild product. So I still have my little velour puff in here, and there is some product in this section here. And I'm going to tap off the product just like I did on my hand again. And I'm going to start from the bottom and powder my way up, because that way I don't end up with excess product under my eyes. I'm getting plenty of it on here, like, don't get me wrong, but tap off on the hand, start from the bottom, and then right up under the eyes. I will be wearing my glasses later because I have got a couple of students for tuition. And then I'm just going to powder everywhere else. I wouldn't normally powder my whole face, but my God, is it hot today. Same method. Again, I prefer using a smaller little velour puff, and that way I have more control about where the powder is going. You might have noticed I haven't set like the perimeters of my face. That's because we'll do a bit of contour there, do a bit of slimming down. I do realize that I look very matte at the moment, but we'll fix that later. So let's do some contouring or bronzing, whatever you want to call it. Depends where you put it, I guess. The next thing I'm going to use is also new. This is the Catrice Sculpt and Charm Contour Stick in the shade 010 Ash. It took me ages to get my hands on this because I wanted to do a Catrice order and an Essence order, but I wanted to get all of the products that I was looking for, not having to do separate orders or wait for certain things. So this is what it looks like. It reminds me a lot of the Sephora cream contour stick, which is double the price. This was only about £6-7, so really, really affordable, maybe even a bit less actually. But like everything else now, it is very melted, so very creamy, shall we say, at the moment. And I will do a little bit under my chin. There we go. Hides all those extra pizzas I ate. And then I use the same brush every time, which is a Sigma one from the Samantha Ravendale collection. And I just like to take a little bit of it onto the base of my chin just to make my face look slightly less long, I guess you would say. Thank you very much for the compliment. I'm sure you look beautiful too. And this is tapping in extra easy today. Again, try not to panic if something looks slightly less than perfect when you're blending out products like this. We're going to go back in with my foundation sponge in a minute and do any tidying up. So all you're doing is trying to get the rough shape that you want and make sure the product is going in the right place. We're not pulling it down. We are trying to lift and sculpt the face. Again, I've brought it in too far here, but we'll fix that in a minute. But the overall shape is going okay. One of the biggest things is to bring it right into your hairline. I mean, if you're like me, you're probably washing your hair every day at the moment anyway. So it shouldn't be a big issue. And if you have dark hair or darker than blonde, essentially, you can just run it into your hairline. Like no one's really going to see it, you know? And that way you don't end up with any weird gaps, okay? Right, so again, the light source is changing because there's clouds and shit going on, but I'm doing my best to get everything even. Right, so going back in now with the foundation sponge, kind of just using that to tidy up. And again, blend along that line till it looks a bit more au naturel. Some people would call this, I don't know, like underpainting or something. I don't know. Kind of a bit like stage makeup, I guess. Again, it looks darker here, but then in real life, it's actually not. I don't know. Anyway, a bit more over here. Any patchy bits? Not that it should be patchy, but I feel like the heat is just making everything behave differently. So yeah. And then you can just keep swapping between the two until you get like your desired level of blending, essentially. It's not perfect today. I knew it kind of wouldn't be because I probably should have washed the brush first, but you know. It'll do. It'll do for now. There's one random bit and then I realized it's actually probably a freckle. Never mind. I thought it was like a blob that hadn't been blended in, but it wasn't. Anyway, the next thing I'll probably do is some blush. So I have MAC's Pink Swoon here. I also brought down Prism, but I think we're going to go for a pink today. If I can open the box, that would be great. So it looks like that. And I'm just going to, ooh, that's powdery. Dip into that. Just kind of a generic pale pink. Oh, you just have to imagine where cheekbones and, bone structure would be, and you go for it. It's all the fun, you know? Pretend. You can do the whole fish face to see where your cheekbones would be if you want to kind of do it an old school way, or you can make up your cheekbone. You can do anything you want. It's makeup. Oh, look, I've just wiped all the foundation off my sunspot. Why does this always happen? My watch is telling me that I have high stress at the moment. I think I just have, I'm having a meltdown in the heat rather than high stress. But anyway, right. This cheek looks very pink in the camera, but then when I check it in the mirror, they're about the same. So I think this whole side of my face is just looking darker in this particular light. So please try to ignore that. Right, let's go back to the eyes. I think I am going to do some eyebrows. Now, I've used this loads of times on camera. It's the NYX Lift and Snatch, but can we all be real that these fucking leak? No one ever talks about that. And I've had two of them and they've both leaked from pretty early on. So it's not leaking now, of course, when I say it, but they do fucking leak. Ooh, you'll definitely have to tell me the name of that whenever you get a chance to look at it. Is it one of the new ones? Because they've changed the formula and everything, haven't they? Uh, I just have so many, I can't justify buying the new ones because then I'll probably end up collecting them all. I'm still trying to collect all the old ones off Vinted. I got a really old one the other day actually from the Mineralized Duos collection from like fucking 2009 or 2010. I was super excited. Probably should have used that today, but this was clearly not the most organized video. I do want to show a haul of like all the kind of inexpensive makeup I've gotten recently. It seems to be either discontinued makeup that's, from an expensive luxury brand or very, very inexpensive makeup, way the other end of the scale. So like Essence and Catrice. Yes, exactly. MAC changing formulas. There's been loads of random discontinued and limited edition stuff actually from MAC lately that's popped up on Vinted. So like if you were looking for any of the Venomous Villains, like quite a few of their powders and eyeshadows have popped up lately. If anyone's looking for those. It was never a collection I thought would ever suit me. So like I didn't really buy any of it. I remember one of the lipsticks at the time sold out instantly. It was like a really pale baby nude pink, very, very similar to Creme de Nude, just a tiny bit pinker. And that sold out in like a day and no one could get their hands on it. It was called Innocence Beware. I mean, there were so many other similar colors to it at that time, but everyone just went crazy. It's a skin finish called Plush. Oh, I'll have to look for that one. I don't think I've seen it yet. I have seen a few like reels of people kind of like trying them on and swatching them with the lipsticks. I do think it's quite a clever idea, but some of the colors have definitely changed, and like some of the blushes are not the same as the lipsticks at all. But they do sort of work when you put them together. So I don't know. I hope there was like a lot of thought put into the whole revamp of the collection because you are getting rid of like some real staple products that people have known and loved for probably over 20 years. I just don't really know who Mac's fan base is anymore. Like, who are they actually appealing to? I don't feel like they have a particular demographic because anyone that's my age and or maybe older likes all the old shit. And like no one who's like, I don't know, I hate using this term, but like a Gen Z, like 25 or younger, is really using Mac. So I don't know, like who are they advertising to? I don't know. Because they're changing all of our old favorite formulas, but then they're not really appealing to the younger crowd either. I feel like that's all the other brands like Rem and stuff and Rare Beauty. Yeah, look, they're leaking. Oh, look, it's leaked all over that hand as well. Yeah, fucking hate that thing. The only thing I will say about it is it never seems to run out, even though it's leaking. So I am nearly finished. I need to put some mascara on my bottom lashes, but before I do that, I'm just going to go over, without putting anything additional on it, where I placed a little bit of that dark shadow under my eyes and just blend it down. I find this just makes my eyes look slightly bigger and more awake. Yeah, I can definitely see the difference. Oh, really? I never knew that. So like the new single shadows. Ah, okay. That's interesting. I did notice there were some really nice new cool tone blushes, definitely. Like I thought Snob looked quite interesting, and there's two different purple ones. One is supposed to pair with Heroine, or My Heroine, or whatever it's called. And then there is another one as well, like a lavender color. So there should be some really interesting tones. But I had no idea they were making the single shadows smaller. I mean, to be fair, like how many of us have actually gotten through a single eyeshadow that wasn't our favorite? I think I've only panned about five or six MAC shadows in my whole life, and I probably have 50, you know? Like, I don't think I've ever even repurchased one because, like, if I ran out of something like Blank Type or Brulee or Vanilla, you just use the other one because they're all almost the same, you know? Right, I think I'm about done. I'm just going to put on some bottom lash mascara. So Giga Black Lash from MAC again. You could also use e.l.f. Lash Extender. I really like that one too. I've gotten really into using tubing mascaras. So this is tubing, I believe, as is the, I never told you about this one, the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash one that I used on my top lashes. It's only an okay mascara, but I love the fact that it's tubing and it's so easy to get off. And again, I don't need my lashes to look mega on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it'd be nice if they did, but the tubing element definitely wins out over the enormous lash element. Okay, my face is still weirdly itchy. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is my favorite lip combination at the moment, which is MAC Whirl Lip Liner. Yogurt is such a nice color, and Omega, when I was blonde, was my favorite color for eyebrows. I used to even use it to contour my face. It's one of the new Sculpt, multi-sculpt product shades as well because it's so useful. Whoa, shrinkflation. Oh my God. Is anyone noticing that a lot in the supermarkets as well? Like, I feel like every time I buy a stir fry pack, it's smaller than it was last time. But of course, it's the same price. Oh, I keep thinking about the north of Scotland now and how lovely and cool it would be. I might just have to drive up tonight. It's too hot. Oh, okay. This is just a really basic lip butter balm from Summer Fridays. I think it came free in the Space NK, well, not free, but as part of the Space NK advent calendar, and I still have millions of it left. I really don't know why people buy all of these, like you'll never get through them. It is a nice lip balm, but it is just a lip balm. Right, so I'm already sweating again. Thank you for watching this kind of bumbling live. I suppose they always are, really. I will be, probably picking up my makeup and wiping bits off and scratching my nose and whatever else for the rest of the day. But I'm going to go up now and spray my Huda Easy Bake Setting Spray, and this foundation will not move. It will not move. And do you know what I really liked about it? This is probably because I haven't used the setting spray now. But when I've used this in combination with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Spray, it didn't sink into my lines that much. Okay, that much. So I would say in terms of, sinking into lines, it would be similar to the House Labs. Like, they've definitely done something in the formula to make it last better, I would say. And then obviously a setting spray is just going to assist with that even further. But like, sometimes I would put on a foundation now at this stage and I would have a huge great chunk sitting in there. I mean, there's a tiny bit, but there's not a lot. So I will go and fix that now with setting spray and I will be done for the day. Ladies, it's been fabulous to chat and I've missed you guys. I do have more time over the summer to do some filming. Obviously, I'll have to fix my my tripod and get back to my actual filming room. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys soon for some more makeup related content. Bye.